Hi, SusanClaire, GourmetQuilter here, popping in with our block of the month for Kimi's Kimonos. For those of you who are doing it, or if you haven't seen it yet, it's available as a pattern on GourmetQuilter.com. This time we're doing part 5 or month 5 of our block of the month, so we're getting along quite well. We've already done some kimonos, and they're really nice little interesting kimonos. We've got a slightly different style of kimono over here. We've got some alternate rectangle blocks, and this time we're going to make some circle blocks. So in the pattern, if you can see this is the red circles, so not the blue ones, they're a different size and done another time. So the red circles is what I'm doing this time. So in our part 1 there was a whole lot of instructions for cutting backgrounds, so there should be some background squares ready for this, and the pattern tells you all about which pieces it is that you need. And then of course we need to cut some circles. So there's a few to do, and I've already cut mine out, and I've ironed some on, but I haven't done all the stitching yet. But I have done some stitching here, so I was just going to show you how to position a circle in the center of these are square blocks, and then I'm doing a blanket stitch around, so I'll just quickly run through how you might do that as well. So when you've got a square like this and a circle, and you want to position it in the middle, you don't necessarily want to be eyeballing it, and you don't necessarily want to have to measure everything. So I found the easiest way is to simply finger press a line halfway across in that direction, and just lightly finger press. You don't want a hefty line there, and lightly finger press it in the opposite direction as well, so that you end up with a finger press line that goes that way, and so where they intersect is actually the center. If you do the same thing with your circle, and because it's got a fusible web paper on the back, it'll get a nice crease going, so that you can match this edge to or this fold to that fold there. Hopefully you can see all this. And again, so you've done exactly the same thing as you did on the square, but on the circle, so that you've got, hopefully you can see 2 folds there, because it's not as easy on this side to see it. And so what we're trying to do now is line up the 4 folds with the 4 folds on the background square. And if you do that, you'll find that everything sits in the center. How amazing is that? I can't see that fold. There it is. The lights. So, but what we want to do, of course, is take the paper off first, but the fold will be just enough in your fabric for you to be able to line that up. Position that onto your background, line up all 4 fold markers, and that looks pretty good. And then we want to iron that in place because it's got the fusible web on the back without moving it. So just check that nothing's moved. And then you want to iron that in place, and there you've got a circle right in the center of your square block. How amazing is that? And then when I do the blanket stitch, so I've set my machine up to do the blanket stitch. If your machine does that, that's great. It's just on its standard settings that come on the machine. I haven't adjusted any sizing. I have changed my foot. So for those of you who have a machine like this foot is, I'm not sure what number it is. It's an open toe foot, so that I can see exactly where I'm going. Other than that, and I have got the knee lift in, because when you're doing applique, the knee lift is particularly helpful if you have a knee lift on your machine. If you don't, I will show you what you can do without the knee lift. So the knee lift lifts the foot for those of you who don't have a machine like this. And because I'm standing, I'll be using the knee lift with my hand, because I'm not sitting and I can't use my knee. So I'm just going to do a blanket stitch. So what we want the blanket stitch to do, it's like basically a straight stitch, but every stitch it comes in and does a little one in, and we want the in to come onto the circle. We want the straight stitch to run on the outside edge on the background fabric of the circle, but we need to keep that curve going nicely. So I'm just going to get started here. So I've got my stitching happening on the outside edge, coming into the circle, coming back out. The next stitch goes along the edge, comes in and along. Now, because it's a curve, you don't want to be wrenching your fabric, ideally. So you would lift your little knee lift to lift that foot and just turn your fabric. And you have to do this every few stitches so that it looks like it's just doing a straight stitch. Probably 3, and then I'm moving it again. Now if you don't have the knee lift, you can achieve this. You may have a foot lever for your foot to lift your foot a little bit, so you just need that hand to lift it a little bit to turn it. Or on this machine, it's a push button, so I would just lift that foot, turn my fabric a little bit, and then start sewing again. But I do recommend that you do that every few stitches so that you get a nice smooth curve going around the edge. If you haven't done this sort of applique before, I would suggest you do a little practice on another piece of fabric. But other than that, you just want to keep going all the way around and till you meet up where you started. And so on this block here that I've already stitched, you can see on the back where my stitching goes around, and I've joined up a little overlap just there, and it just sits really nicely, finishes that edge off nicely and just goes over, and with the fusing that really helps that sit really nicely around the edges. So we've got a few of those to make this month, and then next month we're probably doing a different kimono again, I think. So I think that'll be it for this time, and I will see you again next month. Thank you.